Welcome back. Now, 2023 turned out to be very different from what people had anticipated at the beginning of the year. The narrative at the beginning of the year was that Fed will keep, increasing rates, and this relentless rate hike will crater the US economy. US will go into a recession. But none of that played out. By the end of it, by the end of 2023, we're staring at a Fed pivot, a soft landing for the US. Most economists are saying there is no recession, at least in 2024, for the US economy, and the possibility of rate cuts. So that's been, it's absolutely extraordinary the way the narrative has swung for the markets in 2023. The other theme that was there and it dominated is that big businesses gave birth to new entities. Jio Financial got listed, Tata Tech, the first IPO from the Tata Group in nearly 2 decades. Also, India asserted its place in the global economy in 2023, and 2 examples, one G20 Presidency, and the second one is the inclusion in the JP Morgan Emerging Bond Market Index. And finally, what that fueled the last 2-month rally was the state election. But Hiren, that gets me to the next question about 2024 and the risk of politics. There are 64 countries going, to the polls next year. That's about 49% of the combined world population which will be voting. And you've got big economies, not just India, US, European Parliament will be voting. There is a possibility UK goes to the polls. You've got Russia, you name it, 64 countries. Yeah. How much of a risk can this be?
Look, I mean, geopolitical risk could come from anywhere, right? Yeah. I mean, I think we can sit a little pretty because now after these state elections, there's pretty much certainty that the current government will come back. Yeah. But the world is all interconnected, right? So, I mean, there could well be geopolitical risks. So many elections around the corner. Maybe this this year could be a volatile year. You can't rule that out at all.
You can take heart from the fact. Just one more, Nimesh. You can take heart from the fact that you said how many countries?
64.
All 64 countries and all politicians in all 64 countries know one absolute clear truth: keep the markets up. I think I'm just half joking here because it's true, right? Yeah. You look at the US, you look at everywhere else, and when I say politicians, I mean the institutional support for equities, for markets, is absolutely there.
Yeah, I mean, if you count the big country which matters and
US.
Really the country which prints dollars, right, is the country that matters, right? And I think the reason...
Will the election outcome matter?
Usually they do matter. They do matter, but I think the run-up to the elections also matter, right? Because, there's always a narrative. People think that the Fed moves only because there's economic data, but sometimes there is also political compulsions, where you pivot so quickly. And now, and I was reading that, already the markets are discounting 6 or 7 rate cuts.
Starting March?
Yeah.
So, just before we let you go, and this is a question that we ask everyone at the end of 2023, what do you think 2024 will be like? Will it be more of the same, or are there any new themes that you foresee emerging right now?
One thing that we've seen interestingly, if every year, if you take the top 50, you take the nifty stocks, right? And if you take the bottom 10, very likelihood that 2 or 3 out of those bottom 10 will be the leaders in 2024.
So that with
right?
Tata Motors.
Just like it was Tata Motors, right? If you see 2022, it was down because of all the supply chain and the chip issues. And now it's 100% return. I mean, some nifty stocks will give you mid-cap kind of returns, right? So you got to figure out, which are the 10 underperforming, 10, 15 worst performing stocks of 2023 in Nifty. And some of those could turn out to be winners in 24.
Wow. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Well, that's a nice way to end what is our last editors of 2023. It's curtains down from the entire team. Thank you for watching and wishing you a very happy new year.